Hi guys, today we'll be doing a range test with the Hubsan Zino 2 Plus. This will be one of a series of range tests we'll be doing to compare the range capabilities between this drone and Hubsan Zino Mini Pro, Dji Mini 2 and Dji Mini 1. As these couple of drones are some of the entry-level GPS drone in the market, you'll be able to see for yourself which one best suits your needs if range is something of a concern to you. And one thing about the Zino 2 Plus is that every time you fly, you might have to turn off the HD FPV setting like what I'm doing here. Yeah, if you were to do a 4K 60 frames recording. So I'm not able to select 60 frame by now because the FPV HD mode is turned on by default. So I have to turn it off at the FPV settings here. And we'll proceed with the recording. Okay. Today's weather is near to perfect for long range tests. There's not much wind going on, doesn't look like it's gonna rain, and I have not spotted any birds in the sky during this hot sunny day. But birds remain the main hazard for this flight. So some safety briefing along this flight, we'll have to keep a close eye on the battery level, wind speed, and signal strength of the drone to keep this flight as safe as possible. The worst thing that could happen is losing this drone in the river, into the pond, or which might be very difficult to retrieve. But the chances are very slim for this to ever happen. Okay, right now we are at the height of 61 meter. We will raise this height to a maximum of 120 for this flight. And as you can see, we are traveling at a speed of 12 meter per second, which is quite fast for a bigger drone like this as compared to the minis. And the good thing of flying a bigger drone is that it can go faster and much stable in the wind. So we are close to 120, so I have also set my return to home just in case I lost signal to be at 120 meters. So as you can see now, we're having a bit of jittering in the FPV. So I'm standing right below some trees, and about 50 meters behind me is a cell phone tower, which might be the cause of the signal interference. So I'm trying to point my antenna from the controller at the direction of the flight. So I'm just trying to maximize as much as possible on the signal strength. Okay, so looking very calm. Yeah, there's a bit of a dark cloud above, but not something very serious because it's just a little bit of a dark cloud. And now it's like early morning, so not likely to have much wind. And you can see that we're at 2.6 kilometer, and the image is from the FPV is not very good. So it jitters, and I can barely see the lower portion of the screen. But since I'm very familiar with this place, so I could just push forward. So do enjoy the beautiful scenery of this flight. I'll be back in 3 minutes time. Now we are at 5.2 kilometers and we are crossing the intersection of the river here. So you can see that we have 71% battery left. We will be able to still push forward probably by another kilometer. So on my last test, we only done 65% battery with 5 kilometer range. So we have another 5% more to push for this flight. And as you can see now, my FPV is not really functioning, so I'm relying on the maps to see where's the position of my flight. So it gets a bit hard to see where I'm at now with the drone. So let me enlarge the map and to just navigate from there. Okay, please bear with me a bit as I navigate through this. So we have just crossed the intersection and we are at 5.8 kilometers. So basically I'm flying blind now, just relying on the signal on the map that I can see, so which is pretty accurate yet. And I think it'll be safe to proceed with the return to home very soon because our battery is near to 65%. So we will not push any further after this. So today we have managed to do 6.18 kilometers. Okay, return to home now. And the FPV is lagging behind. You can see there. So it is returning. So one thing with the return to home is that I'm not able to lower the altitude of the flight. So I'll do that later as I'm closing to my starting point. As we cruise back to home, we will check on the battery later on and also we'll go into sport mode. So do enjoy the flight and I'll be back right before we land.
Cancel return. Low battery warning. The drone is under return to home soon.
Alright, so we are approaching the landing, and we still have about 30% battery left. And for my next test, please stay tuned because I'll be doing a similar test on the same flight path with the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro and the Dji Mini 2. So do like this video if you learned something, and thank you for watching, and goodbye.